Hello everyone, this is Sibel Edmonds with Newsbud reporting on the grounds from Turkey. I'm on the move and with no access to my studio and recording gadget, so I apologize in advance for any sound, audio, and recording issues. I've been actively reporting via my pinned Twitter thread at Sibel Edmonds on the recent New Zealand mass shooting incident, so I'm not going to waste time by giving you the case summary, etc. Instead, I'm going to jump right in on the alleged suspect, Tarrant, and his Turkey travel angles. So let's begin. The Australian citizen Brenton Harrison Tarrant, the alleged suspect in the New Zealand mass shooting, had been a big time globetrotter visiting Western Europe, the Balkans, Pakistan, Ukraine, Argentina, Turkey, and even North Korea. Terrance's unusual travel is now under scrutiny, as it should be, but it's kinda under scrutiny. There are some pertinent information that's being blacked out. I just don't know why yet, by whom. Some of it is here from Turkey, and we're gonna get to that. I'm going to focus on his multiple trips to Turkey because one, he came here at least twice. He came to Turkey at least twice. This is confirmed. Two, he had extended stays in Turkey. In fact, during his second visit, he stayed in Turkey for 43 days. Three, in his alleged so-called manifesto, he spends a great deal of attention and time on Turkey and Turkish President Erdogan. It's almost to a point of obsession. Immediately after the incident, Turkish officials confirmed that Tarrant had spent an extended period of time in the country, in Turkey, and that they were investigating his movements and his contacts within the country. It's been almost 48 hours since they put this out. Turkish authorities also released a CCTV picture of the alleged suspect Tarrant from 2016, from his trip to Turkey in 2016. They are examining at least two of his trips, and CCTV footage captures him walking through the airport. This is the Ataturk airport in Istanbul during his March 2016 visit. And that was a visit for only 3 days. Okay, let me recap because I know I'm kind of talking fast. Tarrant visited Turkey at least twice in 2016. First, these are the confirmed ones. First, he came on March 17, 2016 and stayed for only 3 days. Then later, he came back to Turkey and stayed for an extended time, 43 days. There are images of him obtained from the security cameras, the CCTVs at Istanbul's Ataturk airport. I have several exclusive breaking pieces on this case. For this quick breaking story, I'm going to talk about what interesting, noteworthy things were happening in Istanbul, Turkey during Tarrant's brief 3-day stay between March 17 and March 20th, 2016. Okay, let's start. It's almost like a timeline here for his first known visit to Istanbul, Turkey. He arrives in Istanbul, Turkey on the early morning of March 17, 2016. On the same day, in the morning hours, the German embassy in Ankara, Turkey, and the German consulate in Istanbul shut down due to a specific terror threat. So I'm going to read an excerpt from one of the archived articles I found, and these things were reported all over Turkey, Russia Today, UK-based publications. So this was a major piece at the time on March 2016, March 17, 2016. The German embassy in Ankara and consulate general in Istanbul have been shut down due to a terror warning, the foreign ministry said. The German school in Istanbul has also been closed, the ministry said. The terror warning was cited to be very specific and concrete. I'm going to emphasize this. This terror warning they received on the day he came to Istanbul, okay, was very specific and concrete. The German consulate is in the Beyoğlu district near Taksim Square, a major tourist and shopping district in Istanbul. Interestingly, Tarrant stays in this exact same area within a very few blocks of the German consulate in Istanbul, okay? Now here it is. You want to call it coincidence? Go ahead. 2 days later, this is 2 days after Tarrant arrives here in Istanbul, and 2 days later after, due to this threat warning, German embassy and German consulate was shut down. The German school in Istanbul was shut down. So 2 days later, on the morning of March 19, 2016, 3 Israelis were killed and 11 others were hurt in a suicide bombing in Istanbul's Beyoğlu Taksim district, right by the German consulate and right where Tarrant was staying here in Istanbul. Turkish officials said 3 Israelis were among the 5 people killed in a suicide bombing that rocked the main pedestrian area in the heart of Istanbul on that day. At least 11 Israelis were among the 36 injured in the explosion. 2 of them were Israeli Americans, and they were identified right after the suicide attack. Now, this was carried out by single person, the suicide attack, and from the beginning they called it hate crime directed towards the Israelis and Jews in Istanbul. Now, the next morning, on March 20th, 2016, Tarrant leaves Turkey via Istanbul airport. No disclosures so far have been made regarding the country he headed to, and again, this incident happens and the next morning he leaves via Istanbul airport. We don't know where he headed, where he went. So was all this just simple coincidence? Circumstantial evidence? Maybe, although not very likely. But is it worth scrutinizing big time? You bet. Of course, the bombing was immediately attributed to a lone Daesh, aka ISIS member of Turkish origin, with hate crime targeting Jews and Israelis. No real info, details was provided on the suicide bomber, neither at the time of this whole incident nor afterwards. It was one of those things that we never got further information on this cell or the suicide bomber that carried out this attack. As I said, I have a few other exclusive reports on Tarrant's Turkey trips, especially his extended stay here in Turkey and related information. I'll be reporting on those soon, as in very soon. But meanwhile, here are a few important points. Okay? 1, for some reason, Turkish media has removed the timestamps from Tarrant's airport CCTV photos. All CCTV photos have a date and timestamp, all of them. But these have been taken out. Why? I haven't gotten any meaningful response to my inquiries into this glaring blackout, and I put it out to a few journalist contacts I have here. Nobody can give me the explanation why none of these photos of CCTV cameras in the airport in Istanbul, none of them have timestamp on it. Second, every single mainstream media has been calling Tarrant's detailed and many travels and the travel history and his finances sketchy, vague. They don't have any information. Why would the alleged suspect's finances and travel history be sketchy and unknown in this day and age of internet when every bit of information is available to every government in real time everywhere in the world. So that's pure BS, okay? Complete BS. As I said, this is extremely important to recap this thing. This guy arrives in Istanbul, Turkey on March 17, 2016. A couple of hours after he arrives, German embassy, German consulate, they issue warning, they shut down their school, they are warning of imminent attacks, and they are saying that they have gotten specific and concrete information, tip-off, okay? And later, they never explained, the German authorities, how they got this specific, concrete warning. 2 days after this major terrorist bombing incident takes place. They attribute it to ISIS/Daesh, a single Turkish suicide bomber, hate-filled. It's a hate crime. It's done against the Jews and Israelis here in Istanbul. And bam, the next morning, this guy leaves Istanbul. As if he just came here with this, followed by this tip, followed by this shutdown of the embassy, and this incident takes place, and the next morning he leaves. Now, those of you who are following my pinned Twitter thread at Sibel Edmonds are aware of my questioning of the Turkish government on not issuing a heightened alert based on very, very incredibly serious grounds to do so. Look, I almost always belittle and mock BS-bait heightened alerts issued by any government. It's usually for some political agenda. But this is one of the very, very rare instances when I consider it as blinking red for Turkey, okay? Remember, this guy came here several times. At least one of them was for extended stay for 43 days. In his so-called manifesto, he's specifically naming Turkish President Erdogan. He is specifically concentrating to a point of obsessing over Turkey. At the same time, during the same shooting period, we had the American Enterprise Institute issuing this really weird warning asking all Jews to leave Turkey, that they were all going to get killed via hate crime. I'm going to put the link there. In fact, I tweeted it. If you go to my Twitter page, look at the pinned thread, you will see it there. It was by Michael Rubin of American Enterprise Institute saying that their lives were in danger. All the Jews must immediately leave Turkey. This happens on the day of this mass shooting in New Zealand, okay? So put yourself in Turkish government's position. This guy been here several times for extended stays. We don't know how many cells operating around the world. That terror incident took place while he was here during those 3 days, okay? He is focusing, obsessing over Turkey and Turkish president. Michael Rubin, American Enterprise Institute, is putting this out at the same time, and yet there is no heightened alert in Turkey. That is very, very suspicious. If I were part of the system, even me, I would be right now raising the blinking red alert, because there is a major big elections coming up in Turkey that's going to take place in less than 2 weeks. And this is happening, and there is no heightened alert. Anyhow, I will have another video for you on some other very interesting blacked out information regarding this guy's Turkey trips. Let's say Turkey targeting possibly. And please donate, support Newsbud, donate to Newsbud. If you want my videos to remain open to all, I'm not just a blogger. I have several jobs. As you know, I do most of my things exclusively through Newsbud. In order for me to be able to report on the ground from Turkey, put out these videos, I need your support. So please support it if you really want this information. And I'll be with you soon. Thank you all.